What is up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to ROG Pulse, the weekly podcast when we dive into all things tech and gaming, and sometimes just other random, dare I say, nerdy things? I don't know if they qualify as nerdy things, but movies, TV, and I think one thing we're going to talk about today is The Matrix. But before we dive in, my name is Solid Jake. I'm your host here, and this week we've got Whitson Gordon and Marcel Campos joining me once again. Whitson, nice shirt you got there.
Thank you very much. I got a huge batch of ROG shirts in the mail this week, and I'm very excited. I may have shrunk them a little too much in the wash already, but you can only see from this far up, so it's okay.
It's like the secret. No one wears pants when they're streaming. Like desk anchors, they never wear pants. They're wearing gym shorts at best.
Like
it's the suit and gym shorts.
Ron Burgundy up in here.
Yep. I have channeled my inner Ron Burgundy on many broadcasts in the past. It's a good life.
I haven't started drinking scotch on stream yet, but
Scotch.
My career here is young.
Marcel, how have you been, man? What's new?
After that, now I'm considering to grow a mustache here
Oh.
and start my genre thing as well.
There
Yes.
we go.
But I'm doing fine. I'm fine. Hey, folks, how are you doing? There's a lot of Brazilian friends here as well. Olá, todos. Como é que vocês estão?
All right.
Just to say hi for them.
Love to see it. Love to see it.
Marcel's always bringing in the Brazilian crew.
The squad.
It's always good to have them here.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's jump right in with The Matrix. The trailer dropped this morning. That's how I basically started my day, was watching a Matrix trailer. Now, I must confess, I have never seen all of the original Matrix films.
Wait, what? How are we going to talk about this if you haven't seen the second and third movie?
I don't care. If I deserve to be spoiled. I think I've seen the second one, but I'm fairly positive I haven't seen the last one. I might have, but it must have been
You might have seen it.
it
and
must have
forgotten
been
it because you were like,
unmemorable.
eh.
Like, yeah, honestly, that's kind of what I'm
It kind
thinking.
of was a little bit.
Okay,
I don't
so
want to say it was like bad. A lot of people think it's terrible.
is
And I'm
that
like,
the movie where
maybe,
there was
but
like
it-
a
No.
million Smiths, or was that in all of them?
that was in the second one.
Okay, I've seen that one then.
It was in the third one too, but that started in the second one.
Okay.
The second one was extremely memorable because it had that multiple Smith fight scene. It had that incredible car chase. It had the battle in the chateau with all the medieval weapons. Like, that movie was very memorable. The third one, a little bit
I do
less
remember
so.
that. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so here's spoiler alert. Big question for me after watching this trailer: how every character that has died has been brought back in this movie, and the one character that didn't die in the original trilogy is now maybe played by a different actor. Like, what is even
Morpheus,
happening?
obviously.
Although technically, and this is getting into gaming, supposedly, I believe Morpheus, the character, died in the Matrix Online MMO video game that took place after the third movie. And that is a whole separate discussion.
Oh,
The two
man.
Matrix video games, The Matrix Online and Enter the Matrix, both of which, as far as I know, are like canon to the movies. Fascinating experiment with like multimedia telling the story.
They were just
Well, we
trying
won't
to
get into
give
that
that
today.
MMO away. Like, you would go to a convention, like any like PAX or whatever, and they were just like, "Here, please play our game."
I know.
I don't-
It's sad because they actually, there's a lot of like lore baked into that MMO that really like continue the world building that they had already done so much of. But yes, my understanding is that the combat was very clunky. The quests were very repetitive. It was not a particularly fun MMO.
No, it wasn't anything particularly good. But I just want to say, on the topic of The Matrix, since I haven't seen it, we can't go super deep. I don't know if Marcel wants to talk about anything in particular, but what I will say is that there's a YouTube video everyone needs to watch. And it's just Google, like, my mom watched The Matrix. It's a video of a guy who asked his mom to describe The Matrix and what happened in the movie, and he animates the whole thing, and it is a gem. It is one of the best videos on YouTube.
I need to watch that.
It
definitely.
is
I'll
so
find it.
funny. But do yourself a favor and give that a watch. Marcel, are you excited about the new Matrix movie? You're a Matrix fan?
Man, I watched the first one on the theaters in Brazil a long time ago.
Yeah.
When I couldn't even imagine what that title means to that movie. When I get in, you know, that kind of movie surprise. You go to the theaters, you don't know what you're gonna watch. You just go there and check what you have. And then I was kind of blessed on the seat of the theater with that first Matrix. That blows my mind instantly. You know, I have to stay there. At that time, I could stay there for the second run.
Second
movie.
showing.
Yeah, so I just stayed there and I watch again because that blew my mind. Was amazing. And second one was a huge expectation for everyone. There is a bunch of fans already. People like cosplaying, going to the theater for the first day. This
Oh
kind
man,
of
dude, that
movement.
was the funniest thing though. All the trench
Yeah.
coats at the movie theater. I mean, I was that kid.
Yeah.
I was that kid in high school that went to see the prequels with a lightsaber. Right. I didn't have a full Jedi robe or anything, but I brought a plastic lightsaber to the movie theater. Probably a sophomore in high school. Had a blast. But the trench coats and the sunglasses was too funny to me. Like,
I never wore the trench coat. I was
that,
really into the Matrix trilogy when it came out.
yeah. If that session happens in New York, nobody will notice the difference.
oh, back then, yeah, it was kind of a fashion style, I guess.
Yeah, somehow, yeah. But you know, one thing that is very interesting about the trailer, I was thinking about, just like you guys are trying to figure out what it is, sometimes pausing and check what the hell is happening, and the different versions they have, because they have different versions, right?
Mm-hmm.
Different versions of the same trailer with a different voice.
Oh yeah, okay.
That's cool from them to do prepare like that. And I developed my own theory, you know. It's like Neo, he's traveling in time and going back before Neo happens.
That's possible.
It could be a multiverse theory too, where there's multiple instances of Neo,
Could be.
right?
I just have
would be-
I have so many questions.
Rightfully so, and I think that's what is interesting about the movie is it feels like it's I've always thought Matrix didn't make a lot of sense, right? To me, Matrix was kind of all over the place in terms of a world, and there was a lot of room left for interpretation with certain things. Again, this is someone who doesn't remember the third movie that well, but that was my takeaway when I watched these movies.
Or maybe you didn't see it. Maybe that's why you don't understand it. You never got.
Could be,
You
could
never
be.
finished it.
But I, with what I saw in the trailer, I'm intrigued, and I don't get excited for a lot of movies, but I'm actually pretty pumped for it.
My fan theory is that it is multiversal. It's actually just John Wick, and he thinks he's Neo, and he's in the Matrix. Judging by Keanu's haircut, I think that it's actually just a completely different character. Crossover. Let's make it happen.
Is it also
Man, that would
cyberpunk?
be amazing. It would be amazing, you know.
It would be amazing.
Yeah, I can imagine something like John Wick just wake up for a dream, and that dream was the Matrix.
Yep. And you know what? John Wick could be Neo. He's badass enough. Like,
It's possible.
It is in some sense already.
yeah. I mean, it was very much, I feel like John Wick in a way was like this spiritual successor to the Matrix in terms of like the really tight choreography. And I mean, Keanu Reeves is just, he gets some heat sometimes, but the guy is one of the hardest working actors in Hollywood. As a physical action actor, he has no equal, you know? So, which is why so many of those movies he's in just kick so much butt.
Saying an actor has no equal is a big statement. It's a bold statement.
I
but,
know. I don't want. Maybe that's maybe a little bit extreme. But seriously, though, I mean, there are not a lot of folks in Hollywood, especially now. You know, maybe some of the old greats like Bruce Lee and stuff. But how many guys in Hollywood right now can do things the way that Keanu Reeves does?
And not being crazy, because if you include
Yes,
the
also
crazy
that.
ones, because the crazy ones, you have Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise is crazy.
Yeah, I was gonna
And
say
Bruce-
Tom Cruise comes to
Right?
mind.
he's insanely talented, but he's definitely mentally somewhere else.
Yeah, somewhere else is the right definition.
But
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, if you in just looking at Keanu's history, he's come a long way, right? You look at, I think he's in a Romeo and Juliet film or something, like one of his very first films. Obviously, Bill and Ted.
Oh, you're talking about Much Ado About Nothing?
No, it's like actually like a recreation of
okay,
like Romeo and Juliet, and there's just this scene where he like runs down this, old hallway and like does like this fist pump, and I just remember watching this in high school and laughing so hard and being like, this guy is such a dingus, but he's come a long ways. Anyways, we don't need to do a full Matrix podcast as we've already managed to talk about it for 10 minutes.
I could though. I could talk about this for hours.
I could as well
move
if you
on.
want. I can tell you the theory that Matrix script actually solely based on the Bible, and Neo is Jesus, and that's super funny.
I think that's like the top of the iceberg, right? Like everyone knows
Correct.
that Neo is Jesus.
I learned so much in this podcast already today.
See, you clearly didn't see the third one. There's a
No.
moment where he, like, at the end, he dies and he's like lying like this, and there's this like cross of light that comes out of him. It's like extremely
Okay.
Jesus-y.
My wife's gonna be very upset when I tell her we're watching The Matrix tonight. Actually, maybe she'll be
You gotta watch
excited.
all
Who
three
knows?
of them.
Oh, God, we're gonna marathon.
In a row. In a
Actually,
row.
if you after you watch the second one, you should go on YouTube and watch all the cutscenes from Enter the Matrix, the video game. It's all like live action with the actors, because the Enter the Matrix takes place parallel to the second movie, but told from Niobe's perspective, and so there are all these like basically deleted scenes.
Hi, Demon in
true.
chat says it'll be a
To be
holy.
honest,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
to be honest, like I agree with Whitson. You have to watch those because the games they are part of the story. But
Yeah.
before we start the third one, watch one of the best ever animation project, which is Animatrix.
The Animatrix is sweet.
I definitely saw
Watch
that.
it before the third one. Watch
Actually,
all of
watch it
them
before the second
before
one.
the third one. No, it's
Oh,
okay
no.
if you go. It's okay if you
I
go
guess-
after the second one because there are
Yeah,
things
yeah.
that will be a little bit before and things that will be a little bit in the middle and things
Yeah.
you'll not understand, and then watch the third one and you understand. So it's in the right spot.
Maybe I need to go back and watch it again. I remember most of those taking place in between the first and the second.
Animatrix is crazy, Jake. You're gonna love Animatrix,
good.
no matter if it's Matrix or not stories.
Okay.
Yep.
Um,
Oh yes, and Ziegel mentions that there's a 4K version now. I would not watch it streaming. I would get the Blu-rays, especially for the third one, because
Now
there's
you tell me to
compression
spend
just
money?
destroys some of the scenes.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
the 4K remasters are phenomenal.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
we've got a few things to take care of here. One thing, as always, we're doing giveaways, but they're exclusively on Twitch, so you need to join Twitch chat if you're watching on YouTube. Logistics. It's just one of those
But
things.
soon,
Well,
Soon.
maybe.
Soon-ish?
Maybe it's.
It-
There's some legal concerns with YouTube
I won't,
giveaways.
I won't
so-
promise anything, but we're trying, guys.
So,
We're
but
trying.
we currently we're only doing the giveaways on Twitch. But we are looking to make the changes that we can. First giveaway will be in 5 minutes. We're giving away $20 GamesPlanet.com vouchers, and we will be doing one giveaway very soon. And the other thing is all the chat commands also only work in Twitch. Those chat commands should be working on YouTube soon. That one I think we can definitely get working soon.
all
But
right.
anyways, let's talk about some other gaming news. No Man's Sky, a game that launched 5 years ago, promising all kinds of things. Hello Games came out and they delivered a skeleton compared to what they told us we were going to be getting for a game. Fans were in uproar, and obviously, if you guys have followed the game at all, they've continued to release continuous updates like for 5 years for free. And at long last, the game has actually achieved a mostly positive status when it was whatever the mostly negative, I mean, whatever it was called. It was like in the red when that game first hit Steam. And they've officially gone to mostly positive. So with that, I mean, the timing is pretty great because they just released another free update called Frontiers, where it's got a whole like colony management system. It's more than just base building. There's full on colonies and stuff in the game. And for me, as a person who's put in probably 100 hours into that game in the past, but I haven't played it for over 3 years, I'm really pumped to jump back in soon because it's I think it's
I've heard
gonna
a
be
lot
fun.
of things. I don't know if I'll ever get a chance to play it myself.
I'm
But I've heard a
worried.
lot of
I'm
things.
worried by the amount of updates they've had that it's going to be like a challenge to get back in, but I really don't know.
You just start from scratch. I'm sure that it'll walk you through all the new stuff as if you've
Yeah.
never played. Just try to like,
That's probably the right way to do it.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, I try to avoid this game as most as I can because I know it's gonna destroy my life.
It's one of those.
So yeah, you know, I'm a fan of space though, so you can imagine how this will affect my productivity.
You don't want to talk to me about space
I was gonna say, don't talk to Jake about Star Citizen either.
or just space sims in
Gosh.
general. That's actually the other thing that's always kind of kept me from playing a lot of No Man's Sky is the controls are very boring compared to like an actual like space sim. So I don't know. It doesn't feel very satisfying to use a flight stick. It's more of a game you just pick up a mouse and keyboard and run, or a controller, whichever you prefer. But that's just me being nitpicky. Another thing in gaming news is have any of you guys played Stardew Valley before?
Oh yeah,
No,
Definitely.
No.
definitely one of the best indie games. Actually, the story of Stardew Valley is amazing. It was done by one guy only, the whole game.
Yeah, Concerned
Really?
Ape is his handle. Built that game by himself over the course of many years, and it is one of the most complete games out there when it comes to like the vision, right? Because it's all him. The music is him. The writing, the art, everything is all him. And I it's got to be one of my most played games on Steam. Like let me just look. And it's the only game I've ever purchased on multiple platforms because I bought it on my Switch because I was like this is the kind of game I just need to be able to play anytime.
I know the feeling. I have all the Marios you can imagine in all crazy consoles of Nintendo you can imagine. I don't know how many times I bought Super Mario 3. I have no idea how many times I bought it already.
So and what's the reason I bring up Stardew Valley is this is another game where the developer has continued to update the game for free, right? He's just been for years now, like 5 years, he's just been releasing free updates. He's ported it and he's continued making money because
It's come out on like every
yeah,
platform.
it
now.
has, and it's he's had people to help with those ports, so that's why he's no longer the solo person in the credits. The credits used to just be his name, but now there's like people for localization, there's people for there's multiplayer that they added after the fact, and he had help with that, which is really fun, surprisingly. But he has finally announced that he thinks this most recent update was the last update for the game because he's now tunnel vision fully working on a new game. And the new game, I believe, is supposed to be the same world, but it is not at all the same type of game. So it'll be interesting. We know nothing about it beyond that. We just know that he's making something new. So pretty cool. Pretty cool. I'm a fan of
Curious.
his work, so I'm excited to see what he does.
I'm curious about it.
Yeah. Who knows what it'll be? I mean, I'm thinking he's gonna make like an adventure game, like a Zelda. That's kind of like an old school like Zelda adventure game. I think that's based
like
on
a
what he's
fair
done.
guess.
Yeah, I mean, just based on like the style that he goes with, and like his world does have slimes and like wizards and a witch and like some magic and stuff within that world. Even though you're just like a simple farmer, there are like some fantastical elements in there. I think he could take that and push it forward. And the amount of merch that he sells too, like shirts and like they have like art books and stuff like that, like he's really got a big audience with his theme and like that world and that style. So I do see him continuing on that trend, but we'll find out soon. But the last thing on our radar, because it's not really a big news week, is just that Marcel mentioned to me as we were setting up that if you guys remember, there was a cartridge for which Mario Brothers? The original Super Mario Brothers, or was it?
Yes, should it be this one?
Okay, so the original Mario Bros for the NES.
That was the first one that appears over $1 million
And
selling.
this guy just
in
like
action.
flexes on everyone with a sealed one. Like what?
I know.
No, yeah, but this is not the
Always
seal
has it
one.
on
This
hand.
has a lot of wearers,
okay,
like that.
okay.
A lot of
It's just
stuff
in a
around.
protective casing, so it doesn't
Yes,
get broken
yes.
more.
Yeah,
Is that your like?
correct.
Is that like your copy from when you were young, or did you like?
Oh no,
buy that
I'm not
later on as a
lucky like that.
collector?
I'm not that kind of lucky guy.
Yeah.
I wish I could. And the second one that surprised these amounts of $1 million, actually this one reached like 2 million, around 2 million, I guess. They found a new one, and the grade was 9.8, so was really top level. And the second one to reach that was not this one, but this one. Can you spot the difference?
Bros.
Yes, the
Yeah,
Bros.
Yeah.
Correct. So the first versions of the Super Mario Bros. 3 in US, they made a mistake on the alignment and the Bros go over the hand,
Mhm.
and later on they fix it. And also there's a lot of small details, like they have different kind of zip code on the box, on the dress where Nintendo headquarters in US are. So there's a lot of
Interesting.
minor things you have to check. And a sealed one, I guess, was $1 million something. It was the second one to reach this level. After that, a lot of other cartridges like Zelda and many other Marios in many other different instances, if they have something that is unique and they're sealed and they have the grade above 9.6, they probably will be near or surpass $1 million.
Wow.
And that's start to be something you are seeing everywhere, right? And we hear the news, right? Oh, a new cartridge surpassed the value. Suddenly you see this again. Oh, $1.5 million. Then some months later, oh, $2 million now. And it's the same cartridge, but nobody told you it's the same piece of hardware. And then there is a huge article also on The Verge and many other places. You guys can check the article; will be a better reference from you than what I have here. But actually, they figure out the guys who are buying those cartridges are the same guys who are the owners of the grading company
Oh,
and
geez,
the
yeah,
auction company.
Oh.
So it's all scam. It's all just a big scam,
It's a
to
scam.
influence the rates
Yeah.
and to bring big money for something that does have value, but nowhere near that level of value. And I guess it's funny to, I don't want to compare this to like NFTs and crypto, but like
Let's not open that can of worms.
it's a huge thing where it's just like, where does the value actually come from? It's because people want to believe it has that value. And when someone artificially inflates that value, then that's... But is there anything illegal in that? Maybe. I don't know.
Yes, it
okay.
is.
Okay.
It is.
I was going to say, that sounds illegal.
Yeah.
I would think
I'm not
so.
a
It
lawyer,
is.
but
You
sounds fishy.
Actually, it is in terms of action laws. You cannot do that. We cannot pump it up prices. But it's quite normal if you see on the art market, friends who are art collectors, super rich, they pump it up the arts of themselves, bring into, but this is something they do under the rug.
Right.
Literally.
Right.
They do under the table. They don't do that
not
openly, but
publicly
we know this kind of
in
things
front of the whole
happens.
world. Yeah, where you're getting big news articles, because obviously when there's a big news article, you're gonna have good journalists that are gonna dig, and this is clearly what's happened here. We've had journalists, truly dig and figure out who owns XYZ, and hey, look, they're all connected.
In one hand, I feel really bad, because I love to see game culture gaining the recognition of being a culture.
Yeah.
We are in this stage now, so gaming is part of our culture, and if you are a gamer, you belong to this extra set of special culture. The way you dress, the way you talk, the things you talk, the things you like and you value are different than other groups of people. But in the other way, those guys doing that, they don't help at all to make this market really valuable. You know what I mean?
Oh, they heard it.
Now, yeah, they heard it. Now everybody will be like suspicious, about, is that the real value? Like, I know a cartridge like this in that condition here, you're going to find it for $300, $400. It's hard to find. Still expensive, for a cart. I will not use it.
Because guys like you that want that, because you're like, this is an iconic piece of gaming, right? I want this as part of my collection, and there are many people that are in that boat.
Yeah, like this one, you can find for $50 to $70, depends on the.
Well, there were more copies printed, right?
Yeah,
like
but this one, the price
it's
goes
a
up
misprint.
to 250, 300. Yeah.
Same thing. Same thing as collectible cards, right? Sometimes there's a misprint of a Pokemon card, right? And that misprint is going to be worth so much more money than the regular.
Correct. You are 100% correct.
Yeah.
But like pumping that up, I would say even the sealed ones, I would say maybe $2,000 can be a reasonable price. Because imagine at that time we are all kids.
Yeah.
And we will not keep that in good condition.
No, absolutely not. Yeah.
Right? So if you find a sealed one, I can say on the $1,000 level or ballpark, I believe it's doable. But $1 million, I think it's
crazy.
Really way pushed to a level that it's close to insanity. It doesn't make any sense.
I just want to get my little subtle brag out there. I was a nationally ranked Pokemon trading card game player as a kid, and
seriously?
Yeah, I went to nationals and got second. And
second?
I know, right? If I got first, I represented the country in Hawaii versus Japan, but I didn't get first. Anyways,
that's amazing, man.
12-year-old Jake crying a lot.
Crazy.
I cried a lot. My dad's like, "You got second. You should be so proud of yourself." And I just the whole ride home,
we have a finalist here of Pokemon trading card game. That's amazing.
Gosh.
So I wish
company makes me feel pathetic.
I wish I had better discipline.
I'll give you a small piece of my history. I was in 1998 the first Brazilian guy to be a judge on the finals of Magic the Gathering.
Oh hell yeah!
That's awesome.
In Seattle. It was really amazing for me. It was really a moment in my life I'll never forget. A bunch of nerds that loved Magic. We didn't imagine it would be so big as it is today, but it was super cool.
One day
That
I'll
is cool.
I'll get out the Pokemon cards and I'll show them on stream because there is a very large collection. But what I was gonna say is I just wish I had better discipline as a child because these cards saw lots of play. They were not collectibles to me, but the number of first editions that are just I mean, they were in cases, but they're used. Like they're not getting that big money. Guys, we've had Matrix on the screen for a while. If you typed in Twitch chat METRIX, you've been entered into our giveaway. We're gonna draw one winner right now, 2 more at the end of the stream. And
we did have someone asking whether it's US only, and I believe I explained this properly. It is not, anyone can enter, but the codes are for games, the US Games Planet site. Is that correct?
Yes, us.gamesplanet.com.
So, but even if you're international, you can buy a game on the US Games Planet site as long as that game says that it activates in your country.
For some reason, I think I have to refresh the page. It said no entries are eligible. That has never happened before. Let me just refresh, and we're gonna have to
type in the code word wrong, Jake.
No, I just double checked it. MATRIX.
I guess we get the Games Planet codes, guys.
You don't type the Matrix on the Matrix. Find
everyone type it in again, but it's showing 0 eligible users. What? I think it might be broken.
Oh no!
Wait, I know why. I disabled. We're in the process of changing our bots, and this bot is currently asleep. So
the bot is sleeping on the job.
My way to make it up to everyone is going to be to give
One
away.
Night Vision 1. It is case sensitive, all caps.
It is case sensitive. Yeah. No, we'll give away 2 now. But
all right.
Let's start the Game Pass conversation. What's in lead the way? While I get this rolling.
Okay.
Here.
There has been a lot of discussion recently, probably in the past year or so. And the discussion is Xbox Game Pass the best deal in gaming? And we're all PC gamers here. This is a channel mostly for PC gamers, so we're going to be specifically talking about Xbox Game Pass on PC because it is available for PC gamers. You do not need to own an Xbox to make use of this. And man, I thought the best deal in gaming was a big stretch. I thought that was a very silly statement until I subscribed, and now I am kind of on the Game Pass train a little bit. So, for those of you that don't know about Xbox Game Pass or haven't really followed it because you thought it was just for Xbox users, the idea is that for $10 to $15 a month, you basically have access to kind of a Netflix of gaming. You have hundreds of games to choose from, download to your Xbox or PC, and play them at your leisure. Games do, much like Netflix, kind of cycle in and out. So not all games there are there all the time, but Microsoft-owned games are there on launch day and generally stay there just forever, right? And it's pretty sweet. I mean, so if we're talking $120 a year to $180 a year for Game Pass Ultimate, which gets you Xbox Live Gold baked in, which I don't think most PC gamers would need unless you also have an Xbox. $120 a year, that's the cost of 3 or 4 AAA titles at launch. So if you play 3 or 4 AAA titles at launch on Game Pass, you've basically made up the cost. But it's a little bit more complicated than that.
Yeah.
Do either of you guys subscribe?
I do. I have the Ultimate version, right? Which is the cloud one available. Gives you cloud.
Is Ultimate also the only one where you can get the cloud streaming?
Correct. It's the only one.
Yeah, so to be extra clear, this is not solely a streaming service. This is not like Google Stadia or something like that. Xbox Game Pass allows you to download and play the games locally as if you own them, or you can stream them. It is separate, but also bundled with, I don't remember what they call their streaming service, Xbox Cloud Gaming.
Gold.
I know that's not right.
I don't know. They used to.
It's so in the beginning it was different. Now it's inside
they changed their names a lot.
Yeah.
So yes, you have Ultimate then.
Yes, I do have, but we have to warn people because not all titles are able to play on cloud. So you have to have that in mind.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Good to know.
There is definitely limitations with the cloud services, and there are definitely limitations based on which country you're in, vastly changing the value of these services depending on where you live.
And on the platform you play on. Not all Game Pass games are available on PC.
Very true.
So let's talk about this for a moment. Let's talk about the game selection, okay?
I'm gonna roll the winners real fast. We're just gonna we're gonna bang it out. We're gonna get we got Bach Garsk. There's 85 eligible users. So by the way, so I know you guys are in there, and Zoomaruru. Congrats, guys. We'll send you guys a message after the stream. Sorry about that.
Zoomaruru won last week.
I think he did. So we got 2 more winners coming at the end of the stream. So
sweet.
GG's. Anyways, diving on in.
Okay. So, games that are available on Game Pass right now for PC. Hades. Jake has been streaming Hades all week here on the ROG Twitch channel. And you've been doing that through Game Pass, right?
Actually, I initially was, but I swapped over to my Steam,
now you own
my
it?
Steam save. I've owned it since it came out.
Okay.
So I've owned it
that.
since it launched, and this is a common trend we do see in Game Pass, where a game launches and then a year later it might come to Game Pass, right?
Yes. So some come out at launch. Some, like Control, I think was a year after launch.
Yep.
We have other AAA games like Nier Automata, Plague Tale: Innocence, The Outer Worlds. All the Bethesda games are now there. So we got Skyrim, we got Doom, Doom Eternal. I think probably Dishonored, which is like, I love Dishonored. Go play Dishonored, guys. But as you mentioned, games do rotate in and out, especially the third-party ones. So, like Metro Exodus was there for a while. It's not anymore. Final Fantasy 15, I believe, was there for a while. It's not anymore. Red Dead Redemption 2 and Grand Theft Auto 5 kind of had notoriously short cycles on Game Pass. They were on there, but they were taken off fairly quickly enough that if you didn't jump on it right away, you might not have even finished the single player game if you're slow like me, right?
I don't remember that. That's interesting.
I believe that to be the case. Someone in chat, please correct me if I'm wrong, but that's kind of what I remember. And so, Batman Arkham Knight is a good example of a game that's on Game Pass for Xbox, but not PC. So there are a lot of caveats. You can go to the Game Pass site. I believe we have it linked in the description. We don't have a description on Twitch.
It's funny you mentioned Batman because this is one title available for streaming. So actually, if you have streaming available in your country,
and you can stream it to your PC.
Yeah.
Interesting. And so here's where it kind of gets a little bit interesting because yes, you have this huge library of games to play, but you have to also want to play the games that are in that library. And if there are games that aren't in the library that you want to play, all the time you spend playing those games is times you're paying for Game Pass and not using it, right? Or you have to kind of factor all of these things to whether this is worth it for me. 3 or 4 AAA titles at launch, but if you're willing to wait until after launch, then you might be able to buy those games cheaper, and maybe you need to play more games a year for Game Pass to be worth it. Or if you're playing a lot of indie games that cost less, you need to be playing more games a year for Game Pass to be worth it.
Well, I don't know if that's true anymore because Games Pass is now dropping 5 indie games a week, which is insane. So if you're just if you're a dabbler, if you just like to check out new games all the time and you're always bored and you just want to get a taste, then Game Pass is become a powerhouse.
Yes.
Just really quick, we can actually just pull up Game Pass live right here.
Oh, sweet.
And look at recently added titles. Breath Edge, I don't know what this is, Artful Escape. I don't know what any of these are, but if I was a tinkerer and I'm in a certain mentality where it's this, Surgeon game sounds great. Boom, done. It's a puzzle game. This is perfect. But then there's older games, AAA titles like Final Fantasy 13. I've never played that. Myst,
this is
classic.
exactly it. This goes for AAA titles too. I'd never played any Final Fantasy game. Guys, don't hate me. I've never played a Final Fantasy game in my life. But when it's on Xbox Game Pass, okay, yeah, I'll play a couple. I probably won't play through the whole dozens of hours, but I can see what it's all about. And not feel like I have to drop a ton of money on it. And this has led me to some games that I ended up really loving. Forza Horizon 4, I feel bad because Forza Horizon 4 was a punchline for me. I would always make it as Xbox has great exclusives like Halo and Forza if you're one of those weirdos. And then I got Game Pass and I tried Forza and now it's games. So I'm sorry to everyone. Go play Forza Horizon. It's freaking amazing. I'm totally addicted. But I never would have discovered that if it weren't for Game Pass because it's still probably $40 on the Microsoft Store. I have to look up the exact pricing, but it's not like other PC games where after a while it drops a ton in price. You don't always have those steep discounts, so it's worth trying it out on Game Pass.
I think if there's anyone here watching that hasn't subscribed to Game Pass already, we just sold them. Because if you're looking at the screen, you can see Microsoft Solitaire Collection is free with Game Pass. What are you waiting for? Like, easy clap, get that installed. In fact, I've got it installed. I think it installed itself. I don't think I installed that myself.
How do
For
you
some
guys
reason, the
compare?
Microsoft Store
How do you guys
won't tell
compare
me
the
price.
Game Pass with the PlayStation version of it?
Okay. Well, first of all, one is just for PlayStation. So
This is PC
it's
and
not
Xbox.
really for PC.
Yeah.
But okay, so we need to clear one thing up first here.
Yeah, no, just title wise, because we know different platforms.
Well,
and
I
we
want
know
to
the
clear one thing up
advantages,
because there's Xbox Game Pass and there's Xbox Gold Live or Xbox Live Gold, which is just the online multiplayer for Xbox, and you get a couple games free every. PlayStation has a similar layout where they have PlayStation Plus, which is the online multiplayer, and you get a couple free games every month.
I think it's
And
3
then
or
there's
4.
Yeah, and there's PlayStation Now. I think because PlayStation Plus is so popular and everyone's talking about Game Pass, people often equate the two, but they're not. PS Plus is like Xbox Live Gold. PlayStation Now is more akin to Xbox Game Pass, but it's a little different in the sense that I don't think the library is quite as good or as big.
No, definitely not.
A lot of games, particularly PlayStation 3 games, are streaming only because those games aren't like the PS4 and PS5 aren't backwards compatible with PS3 in the same way that Xbox is and PC is.
And
So a lot of those games you can download, play on your console locally, but a lot of them you have to stream.
your mic is cutting out a little bit, Whitson, just so you know. It's just like
Oh, no.
a word here and there is decided to be deleted by your mic. But I think you said it's PS4 games because your mic muted as soon as you said blank games. But PS4 games can be downloaded, and
Yes.
which is a pretty good experience. I've done that. But I tried streaming. I had just played the new God of War game that came out on PS4 when I purchased my PS5 like about a year ago.
Incredible game.
Right? And legendary game, like masterpiece, like 10 out of 10, maybe 11 out of 10. And
Yeah.
my wife had never played any of the other God of War games, which I grew up playing. So she was
I haven't
interested.
either.
She was interested in like seeing what old Kratos was like when he was young. So I was like, well, let's just stream it through PlayStation Now. And it had latency, and granted, I'm using Ethernet. I've got gigabit internet, and the servers just weren't good. And this was a PS1 title where the file size it doesn't matter. I know,
It
but like
doesn't matter.
to me, I'm just saying the graphics are crap. The bit rate shouldn't be high that's needed for this. Like, there's no excuse for it, right? I know that's not how the technology works, but even still, I was like, it has so much latency on it that this is again a different conversation of game streaming.
Yeah.
Not
But
not
it's
a,
important because
yeah,
I mean, we're talking about PC here, right?
yeah.
PlayStation Now, even the PS4 games that you could download to a console, you have to stream those to a PC. All games, if you have PS Now, you have to stream them to a PC. Whereas with Xbox Game Pass, you can download any game that's available on Xbox Game Pass for PC, you can download and play locally.
Yeah. I think the streaming will be a big part of those guys. Remember last time we talked, I told probably the new platform of the future will be the store where you buy the games, not the hardware itself.
Yes, and so I've used Xbox Game Pass. I don't subscribe to it currently, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. But I don't know as much the difference between how the Game Pass versions of games run versus like Steam or whatever. I know that was kind of a thing back when the Universal Windows platform launched. I don't know if they're different as much now.
It's gotten better. I'll say some of the things that I don't like with Xbox is the friend system tends to feel clunky to me. There's been many a times where the sole reason my friends they're paying the $1 to sign up to Game Pass for the 1 month, right? Because you can do that every 6 months, I believe you can do that. And it's like every Christmas time we'll play Sea of Thieves, right? Just with a squad. And it's not a game where we want to play it a lot. It's really fun once in a while for us. But the party system and the menus and stuff is really where it feels rough. Not that Steam is perfect. Steam definitely is not perfect across all games, but Steam is at least familiar. So I think that's probably why I like it better.
It's fair. Here's a question I have for both of you, because I have subscribed to Game Pass for like a year and I still don't understand this. How does EA Play factor into it?
They bought EA, did they not? Don't they like own?
No, they didn't buy EA,
didn't-
but
well-
there's the EA Play subscription, which is kind of like Game Pass, but just for Electronic Arts games. And
But it's the same
part,
for Ubisoft. Same for Ubisoft.
Yeah.
If you go
yeah,
to
Ubisoft has their own. But what I'm
Yeah.
saying is EA Play is part of Xbox Game Pass in like this weird kind of convoluted way where some games are available on Game Pass through EA Play, but it's not necessarily at launch, and it's a little bit confusing. For a while, those games weren't available on PC, but I believe they are now. It's a little bit confusing to me how they work together. I never quite figured it
so
out.
Bueno in chat says that it launches the EA launcher from Game Pass.
Oh, interesting. So maybe it literally just gives you a subscription to EA Play.
I
and you
believe it
launch those
does
games
because
through the
EA
launcher.
like full on abandoned Origin. Like they gave up on trying to promote Origin as a platform. I mean, EA Play is now basically tied into Game Pass. I'm sure they're getting the money they need through either microtransactions or Microsoft directly to make this more profitable for them, because their own platform, they just misstepped too hard. They never had a strong reputation in the gaming scene in general. They've kind of been looked at as the bad guys for a long time, although I think Activision has probably taken that crown of being the villain. There's always a villain.
I mean,
I'm not saying
a lot of look. I mean, we're talking about a lot of big companies
yeah.
with some baggage.
Yeah, of course.
We all love their games too. So
I'm not saying we don't. I mean,
that's a whole nother discussion. That
don't start.
my room is filled with Blizzard
Yeah.
stuff, and there's definitely been some negative press in that world recently. But
yeah, I've been playing
Does
a lot of Overwatch lately.
oh yeah, nice. But I don't know. I think
So it's okay. So it integrates in that way. That makes a little bit more sense.
Yeah,
But yeah. So
but
I mean,
guys, if you allow me, like, if you go to the streaming area, I know it's not the talk here is not about the streaming or quality of streaming, but let's look at the business model, right? Passes, right? You go to Stadia, you actually pay for Stadia Pro $10 per month, and it's pretty much like a Game Pass, not as big, not as with the same titles, not with the options you have on Game Pass. Game Pass is way more complete. Today is the best by far, but it's the same concept. You got games for free. You can claim those games since you cannot download them, but you can claim them. And once you claim them, they are yours. Even if they disappear from the catalog, they're still yours because you claimed them. So that's a way they
Game
deal
Pass
with that.
doesn't do that.
no,
I know,
If they
but
disappear from the service, you can't
I
play them
know.
anymore.
I know,
So that's
I
a
know,
little
but
bit different. That's interesting.
correct. But also, we don't have the same kind of titles
Right.
we have on Game Pass on Stadia. So that's the drawback. And if you go to Luna, which is Amazon service, Luna, I think they're still improving the overall back end servers. Every time I play, I'm playing Control over there on Luna just for testing all the time.
Interesting.
Yeah, and it's getting better and better all the time. Every time I play, but I still feeling that they don't have too many titles. There's not many titles coming up, but I see in all of them, no matter if it's Stadia or Luna, the option to buy the Ubisoft Plus. So it's like those guys, those publishers, they figure out, they don't want to be the platform. They will be an option inside the platform.
This is my fear, though, is that Xbox Game Pass gets big enough that we're going to see what happened in the video streaming industry, where everyone leaves, all these production companies leave Netflix and try to make their own Paramount Plus, CBS All Access. And you just get this fragmentation that ends up being like cable.
It's
right?
already-
I'm
it's-
worried that's going to happen here too.
So it's weird though, because this industry is very different than the streaming of movies and stuff, right? Because you look at like how it exists in Steam, just has gamers loyalty for PC gaming, right? It's just part of our culture. It's there. It's not going away. People are accustomed to just buying their Steam games. People have their established libraries that they're attached to, where they already have a commitment, and their friends list that they already have their establishment and their commitment, right? That's one
The
thing.
legacy.
You now have Epic Games, who is actually it's the first company to ever really feel like it can challenge Steam. They're getting to where they are with Epic Games largely through giving away these games for free. During this 24-hour window or 48-hour window or whatever, you download a game for free.
It's actually usually a week-long window.
Sure,
on Epic.
whatever it is. They're giving you these opportunities to download games for free. And me being that stubborn diehard Steam guy for a while said, no, I'm not going to do it. Sure enough, I grab my games for free on Epic whenever I can.
Of course.
But it's just so that's like another contender. And Epic, they've come out and said like they don't expect to make money through their platform for another 5 years or something, or maybe longer. It's really just an investment. And when you make Fortnite, you can throw that money away. You can use that marketing money to build up your audience because you've got that Fortnite money. But
and that Unreal Engine money.
well, yeah, I mean they're doing great. They're kicking butt. They really are. We should do a whole Unreal Engine show, by the way. It's the new Unreal Engine. I think it's 5. It's a game changer. It really is a game changer for making.
I do want to mention something that we've kind of been like dancing around, and I keep forgetting to say it. If you have Xbox Game Pass and there's a game you really like and you don't know if you're going to continue your subscription, you can buy those games to own at a discount as long as you're a subscriber. So that's handy as well.
That is true.
If you're just subscribing to Game Pass for a few months to try things out, try out some new games, you can then buy them at a discount as a member. So that's kind of cool too.
Same strategy on Stadia.
Yep. But then you still have to. Oh, and I guess Stadia is free. So if you buy those games at a discount, you can play them with the free subscription to Stadia, right? Okay.
Yeah, like if you have the Stadia Pro, sometimes there are huge discounts. Sometimes 50%,
yeah, I've seen
70%.
Them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, just to kind of like finish my thought, it's like, the gaming market is so very different, where we have so much more accessibility compared to these giants that want to own the rights to these movies. Because you're right, there's what I subscribe to maybe 4 or 5 different video streaming services for no good reason right now, and that's just how it goes. And I always have to say, okay, I'm going to cancel Disney in favor of HBO, right? It's like, well, what do I want to watch this season or this month? I don't want that either with gaming. I really don't. But the accessibility is not something that we should be complaining about right now, because it feels better than ever.
That's a great point.
It does. And that's Game Pass to be blamed off in a good way.
Yeah.
Because they are doing that. They are the pioneers on that and doing the right way and doing a way that everybody feels good about it and see the value. And I can tell you, Game Pass is a huge differentiator for Microsoft and Xbox in developed countries, because it's a cheap way to have access to AAA games, even if they are not new, but they are there and they're good.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing at this boyfriend dungeon game. Date your weapons.
I'm not watching.
It's like a dungeon simulator where you date your weapons. So it's a dating game and a dungeon crawler all in one, because your weapons have personalities. It's called Boyfriend Dungeon.
Okay, I'm not even gonna try to get into this right now. You okay over there, Marcel? You dying on us? You choking on your water?
No, I was good. Now I'm bad. When I start seeing that, I said, what?
One of them is a cat? Why are you dating a cat?
What the hell?
Boyfriend dungeon. So, okay. You make a very good point, Jake. Don't look a gift horse in the mouth while we have it. Slight counterpoint and tip for everyone looking into this. I think that we're already sort of there in terms of you talk about subscribing to like Disney Plus for a season and then saying like, all right, I'm going to cancel this and subscribe to HBO for a bit and watch these shows, and I'll kind of cycle these streaming services in and out. And I think that's, first of all, the best strategy for these video streaming services. You don't need to subscribe to the same one all year long, all the time, and just rack up a bunch of them. Rotate them out as you watch shows. You can do the same thing with Game Pass. You may not have like multiple subscription services necessarily, but if there are games you want to play that aren't on Game Pass, you can like pause your subscription for a month or two, play those games, then come back to Game Pass, explore games you're not sure you want to buy at full price, play games that they have on the service already, and kind of rotate it out that way. And you kind of get the best of both worlds. There's nothing saying you have to stay subscribed for like years at a time, even though I'm sure that is how a lot of these companies would like it to be. You can kind of come at it from a strategic angle and do it that way. And in fact, this is the last thing I have to say. You don't necessarily have to pay $100 a year. There are slight discounts if you buy like 3-month cards on Amazon, and pay for it that way. And if you have not subscribed to Game Pass before, which I highly recommend checking out if you have not checked it out, you can find some discounted Xbox Live Gold credits. And then when you subscribe to Game Pass for that $1 for the first month or 3 months, whatever it is, it'll convert all Xbox Live Gold credits to Game Pass Ultimate, and depending on how cheap you got the Xbox Live Gold credits, you might come out paying like $5 for game. It is a really sweet kind of a deal for first time subscribers that is worth checking out if you want to get it at a discount.
I want to say hashtag ad, but we're not actually. This isn't a sponsored stream. He's just genuine about loving Game Pass.
I am, and I'm not even subscribed right now
at the moment. Yeah,
I just
you see the value.
but I'm gonna be again at some point. It's just one of those funny things. I didn't think it was gonna be for me. I didn't think games were gonna be, and yeah, I'm kind of a convert now. The $1 million question, guys, and by $1 million, I mean I've artificially created the value of the question to $1 million, just like those Super Mario guys. Is Game Pass the best deal in PC gaming?
Yeah. There's nothing close,
Definitely.
Marcel, right? There's nothing close.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Apart from
close.
free games from Epic, I think, yeah.
No. I'll be honest to you. Like, I have a friend here. He's a developer. It's called Rodrigo Chips. He's a developer, game developer in Brazil. But we have this kind of conversation sometimes through the smartphone. And he said something to me once when we are debating about Stadia and the Stadia way of doing similar to Game Pass and so on. He said, what's the point to have 1,000 games, 1,000 titles that are not really the titles people want to play against having 10 titles people want to play?
Mm-hmm. I'm with you.
So if you go to Game Pass, they have the titles people want to play.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny because I've been saying that for a long time. Like World of Warcraft, they still managed to charge $15 a month for. But I always kind of thought, especially when this culture was becoming a little bit broader in terms of Game Pass and stuff, that we'd see Blizzard charging like a BattleNet subscription, right? Where you pay $15 a month and you just get access to all their games, right? So you just pay that subscription, and bam, you now own the Blizzard library, basically. And, to me, that's probably, then you still have cosmetics and stuff on top of that. But I don't know that I'm going to buy Overwatch 2. I don't know that I'm going to buy
giving them ideas.
Diablo 2 remastered. But I'd rather save the $60 or the $40.
I mean, that's a fair point. Yeah.
The challenge for them, though, is with their established player base and the people that have already paid those games, what's the draw for them? Are they releasing enough games? So I think there's definitely some two sides of that coin.
Well,
but
you just make the subscription a little bit cheaper. It doesn't need to be $15 a month for all of Blizzard's games. And also, let's keep in mind, Blizzard, it owns Activision. They have huge games. We're talking about and there are probably plenty of people who would love to play Overwatch, but when it comes to Overwatch versus all these other free-to-play Overwatch-esque titles like Apex or whatever, they're like, no, I don't necessarily want to had this much money into Overwatch or Warzone, or I guess Warzone's free play, but you get the idea, right? So if they choose not to transition to free to play for all games, which a lot of them are right now, it may be worth having that subscription available to people who never got in on those games and want to try them out, and then you get hooked.
Correct. Or you are like a Nintendo. You don't care and give to everyone NES and Super NES games as free on your subscription model.
It's not it's not free, but it's subscription. That's true.
You know what I mean, right?
That's a whole different thing.
Come on, it's kind of sad though.
I'm not a fan of that subscription model.
But I have to. How do I play online with friends? You have to have.
Oh yeah, no, that's
Nintendo way.
That's a whole. Well, that's all the consoles do that still.
I think
which
that's
is insane
disgusting.
to me as a PC gamer.
Grimy, like it's
What?
just like I pay whatever. It's only like $20 a year or something, right? The Nintendo thing.
Oh, that's not bad.
It's cheap. It's cheap. The online.
I thought it was like $10 a month.
No, it's like $20 a year. It's much more affordable than the other services, but
look, all of those services, the multiplayer for the consoles, you can get good deals on them too. You can get PlayStation Plus for
my
like
problem
$40.
is if you're going to charge for that service, your net play better be good. And Smash Brothers Online has such high ping, such high latency. I come from a background competitive Smash experience where that's like what I did growing up. So I was really pumped, and I bought a Switch specifically to play Smash Online, and it's just garbage fire. It's bad.
Interesting. And that's not it's not because you're limited to buy on the Switch.
I literally bought a USB to Ethernet adapter. I'm playing hardwired. Like
That's unfortunate.
I made the extra step to try to make it good. It's better for Pokemon Unite though, so it's interesting. Like maybe they're getting better.
Nintendo seems like they're a little bit newer to the online multiplayer scene.
Yeah, but they
Console
had it for
makers,
the
especially
they had it for the
considering,
Wii
like,
U, so it's not their first stab at it.
Microsoft has like a huge infrastructure
Yeah.
for stuff like that, right? Like they got servers all over the world. Nintendo may be kind of beefing that up.
Nintendo is funny, because they are the first ones to promote multiplayer, but on the console. But when it comes to online, they don't promote that. It's so awkward and sometimes funny,
But you know what? I wish split screen multiplayer would make more of a comeback.
Not with COVID.
Stay
at home.
It'd be nice to play with like my kids.
Yeah.
Like, it's
Well, I
time to
mean,
get
you
my
could
kids
still
into
do that
video
on the
games.
Switch. You could do that. Play Mario
Maybe
Kart.
on the Switch. It's like, but my understanding is that split screen is less of a thing now than it used to be.
Absolutely.
I mean, look, Halo Infinite isn't even coming out with split screen co-op when it launches, right?
That's crazy.
Like that was a huge part of Halo for me growing up.
Yeah. And my
Yeah,
brother's
now-
stream
and
sniping me.
Now this and the screens now, like you can buy a 75-inch screen and put in your living room. It's not like
Crazy
out of your
affordable.
pocket. Yeah, it's super affordable. So if you have split screen with 75 inches, come on, pretty okay though.
We played 4-player GoldenEye on a TV that was like this big growing up. Like,
Oh yeah, the 24-inch CRT where it's
24.
like yeah, the struggle. I mean, we were all there as kids. I mean, that was brutal. Okay, guys, we've had Pulse on the screen for a while for you guys to enter for our final 2 giveaways of the day. We are going to draw 2 winners with this keyword right now. Winner number 1, just gameplay WASD. Please confirm that you are here and congrats. Nice. Okay.
Nice.
And Akash from 97 says, well, he said congrats to the other guy before he even realized he won. So congrats to him too. Nice.
He or she.
Or yes, them. But yeah, guys, 4 winners have been selected. We'll be sending you guys a whisper here on Twitch after the stream. GG's. But yeah, I don't know. Game Pass, like you mentioned,
I feel like this conversation is costing me money because I'm going to go resubscribe to Game Pass.
there's value there.
Actually, I'll probably resubscribe when Forza Horizon 5 comes out. I'm going to
which
jump
is
back in though.
soon? Question mark.
Soon, I think November. I'm so hyped.
Yeah.
I don't get that hyped about. I try not to hype my video games.
11-9.
I'm hyped for Forza Horizon 5.
I will say that's one other like little thing. I do enjoy, like, so in the past, you want to know when a game's coming out. Steam doesn't have a great interface. It just doesn't. Like the store and everything in your library, Steam's always felt kind of a little bit cluttered to me. But here it's just like, all right, here's some big drops coming soon. They just have a coming soon list right at the top. So it's like, okay, I know I'm playing Halo in October or in December. Great.
I just Google these things.
Well, yeah, there's that too. But it's nice to just be like, I'm bored.
No, it is nice. So like if you're browsing, if you're like, what's coming out soon? Do I want to keep my Game Pass subscription? What's coming up? Oh yeah, that's going to be sweet. I'm going to keep my subscription for another couple months.
Well, that's the whole point of this. And again, that's like what Netflix does too. Coming soon. That's a new thing that they're doing more and more of, is showing you the drops for next week and the week after and stuff like that. And that's just kind of becoming the culture of like, all right, well, what is there to watch? Well, now it's like, well, what is there to play? It's like, oh, okay, this looks pretty. Sure, I'll download it.
Like, I feel like that's never been PC gaming culture for me. What is there to play? It's more like, what's in my 100 game backlog that I
did Link just catch a giraffe? What am I watching?
Why do you always watch the weirdest things, Jake?
I don't know. Why is
what
female
is that?
Link catching a giraffe? Oh, now he's fighting a crocodile.
What even game is this? I can't see.
It's
The
called
screen's too small.
Craftopia. It's definitely a Breath of the Wild.
Rip-off.
Oh.
Game. Wow. Okay. I was.
Oh man.
At what point does something cease to be a ripoff, though? Like, how many games have to be made?
It's just like the exact
Well,
color
it's
of
a
blue,
genre
the
zone,
exact
right? Like,
color of the hair. It's like it's like, come
Fortnite
on.
was a PUBG ripoff until now. That's just an entire genre.
That
of
poor
games.
cow. Oh my god.
Gosh.
Wait. All right. So I'm streaming this game next week, I guess, on the ROG channel because you go from driving
my
a tank
God.
to hitting a cow with a baseball bat. Like, this is content right here.
Yeah, this is
I have so many.
I think everyone's
questions.
gonna eat their words about this game. This looks like something.
It looks like.
Whoa.
Oh, it's
Publisher
Fortnite now.
doesn't-
It's like one
Yeah,
part Fortnite,
yeah.
it's one part Stardew Valley. It's.
I wish I could just pick up my planter boxes like that. One of them is crooked out in my backyard right now. I could just.
What
That'd be
the
great.
hell is happening?
Okay. Yeah. Whoever
Oh
is
my
listening to
God.
the audio version of this right now is. Which, speaking of which, guys, very soon we will actually. Technically, the audio version is available, but it's just not on like iTunes and Google Podcasts yet. But we do have an audio version of this show coming soon to a phone near you, so you can listen to it driving.
The RSS,
whatever.
The RSS feed exists, but the
The RSS feed exists. Should we put it in the chat?
Yeah, drop
Should we
it.
Put it in the.
Drop
I guess
it
we
like
should.
it's hot.
Yeah.
isn't it just
Okay,
podbean.asus.rg?
It's rogpulse.podbean.com.
Even
This
better.
isn't really where I want people to subscribe from. But
Well, it's if people want it now, they can have it now.
yeah, if you want it now, this
But
is where you get it. But we'll be putting it on iTunes, and Google, and places like that soon.
There's just a slow process of getting approved, and they don't. Yeah,
They don't just approve anyone. They took one look at these faces and they were like, "These guys look sketchy as heck. Let's look deeply at this show."
as chat said, Mark Zuckerberg's on there. Can we approve it?
If this is going to be a thing every episode of Pulse now, I quit. Where everyone
then-
just says I look like Mark Zuckerberg.
I think we
'Cause
need to
someone
get
said that in the chat early today when we first started the show, and I was like,
when we create an emote for on Twitch emotes of your face. It's gonna be ROG Zuckerberg will be the text that you type in. It'll be your
I quit.
face.
I quit. I'm gonna go. New job for me. 2 months. I had a good run, guys.
Good
but
run.
I'm out now. Cool.
Well,
That's all I have to say about Game Pass. Go
yeah.
subscribe, guys. If you haven't, try it out. I'm not getting paid under the table by Microsoft to say this. Go try Game Pass and play Forza Horizon because it's awesome.
Yeah, the
Even
giveaways.
if you're a hater.
Giveaways are done for the day. Congrats to the winners. Yeah, no, I mean, just the value of the games that are on there right now. I wanted to say, like, AAA titles. We had Psychonauts and Humankind come out in the last 2-3 weeks. Those are 2 AAA titles that dropped on there that I was just able to just play. I was like, I don't know that I want to play either of these games, but I don't. And it turns out that they were fine. They were fun. They weren't the games for me.
Fine, they're fun. I have a friend who would die right now if you said Psychonauts was just fun.
Too many teeth.
That's fair. There were a lot of teeth.
Yeah, but the fact that I could just be like, yo, let's play this game and check it out, especially as a streamer, it's like, that's incredible value. So yeah, I don't know. Love it.
Also, Doom and Doom Eternal. What else do you need?
Yeah.
I could play those games just over and over and over again for the rest of my life.
And just to
I'm pretty
like
sure.
to talk on the business side of things for the developers, I was like, well, I got these games for free, so I then purchased the DLC because it doesn't come with the DLC. That's one thing that the Game Pass usually doesn't include. So any kind of DLC or cosmetic and stuff, you then have to buy after. So I had to go to the Bethesda store to purchase the DLC, to play through the DLC to get the full story. And I was like, you know what? I got the games for free. Why not?
Yeah, well, free.
Well, yeah.
But yeah.
I mean, to me, I've already just considered that a.
But if you play enough games, it feels like they're free because you only paid $120 a year.
No.
You played 70 games or whatever. I don't play that many.
But that's the point. I think that's the point, and that's the catch. You feel as free as more as you use.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah.
If you don't use at all, you should not pay for that.
Well, absolutely. Yeah.
It's just a waste of money, you
Just
know.
like
But
my
if you use
Nintendo Online subscription. Why am I paying that money?
yeah, I know why I'm paying because
Yeah, you do get some free games though.
I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan. So then they pop out some games of Super Nintendo that I forgot they exist. I say, yeah, I played that game. To
You're
not say other
a
word.
big retro. You're a big retro nostalgia gamer.
Yeah.
I'm not.
So then I go and play and say, okay,
Yeah.
$20. Actually, I paid 34 or almost 35 because it's the family pack. So per year,
How many
but it's fine.
Switches are in your house, Marcel?
Right now, I have 3.
I thought you were gonna
But
say,
it-
let me
but,
count which children are home right now. Like, are there
I
switches
should
in the
count.
house?
That's one for you and one for each of your boys, right?
My daughter, she got the
Oh,
Lite.
sorry, I thought you had two boys.
Yeah, I have a daughter, 11 years old. Julia, she got the Nintendo Lite, the pink one. Pedro has his own. It's the new Nintendo Switch, not the OLED one because it's not available yet. And I have my own Nintendo Switch. I used to play while I'm traveling. It was a perfect companion for that when I'm in the airplane. But
That's why I bought mine.
but I had another one that I bought in the first day when they launched. I was in the line on GameStop to buy it. That one, my son lost it.
Oh,
Tragic.
Oh, it was one of I felt so much.
And those
That's
were hard
how
to
you
find
know
for
you
a
love
while
your
too.
kids. Yeah, that's how you know you love your kids. You don't kill them. You just kiss their head and say, "Okay, we buy another one."
We might be getting our kids a Switch this year. My kids don't play a lot of games. I think it's time to start introducing them to video games. I'd love to
Go for
introduce
the
them on
OLED.
PC, but they've never used a PC before. So
Switch is a
Yeah,
great
go for
starting
the
point.
OLED.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah,
But
I
go
mean,
for
that's
the
what I started
OLED.
on.
get the OLED version.
Oh
that would
yeah,
be
for
new.
sure. Yeah. And then I'm probably going to play it as much as they do. Epic Arthur says best Nintendo was the 3DS XL. Honestly, reason I still haven't bought a Switch is because I still have 3DS games to play.
That's the one I skipped. Skip that. That's probably the only handheld Nintendo console I never played. Was a 3DS.
It's got a solid library
Really?
because it can play DS games too. So like, I mean, it's a good system.
I love the
Missed
3DS.
it.
I love
Yeah.
the 3DS.
And honestly, the thing I like about it more than the Switch, and I feel like we've talked about this on the show before, is that you have the clamshell design, which makes it incredible for
Yeah.
super portable. It's like protected. It's perfect for bringing on planes and stuff like that. Love it.
You're gonna have to buy that clamshell case for the Switch though. The official Nintendo one is quite nice.
Yeah, but then I take it out of the case and I put the case back in my bag. It's not
I get it.
just like
I
opening the
get
thing
it.
up.
Yeah. So if you want to go buy yourself a new flip phone, you're welcome to go do that as well, because your argument is in that same vein. You want
I
a flip
can't.
phone.
No, ROG doesn't make a flip phone. I can't portray.
On that note, guys, I think that's gonna wrap it up for today's show. This was probably the most rambly, out of left field conversation we've ever had, where it was just everywhere.
I
And it was
consider
good.
that a good thing.
Yeah, no, that was fun. It was fun. The Matrix, a holy experience is in my future.
Yeah,
of
I guess we're a nerd movie podcast now. Sorry, guys. Hey, 2 weeks ago we talked about Brandon.
I want to have a
Was
book
more out of
club.
left field than this.
I drove up to Vermont this weekend and I listened to probably 16 hours of Brandon Sanderson. It was a great time. That's we like to hike mountains and listen to audiobooks together.
That's nice.
It's a good time. It's a good time. But guys, make sure you hit that follow button here on Twitch. We are revamping a bunch of stuff. We're gonna have bigger, better giveaways in the near future. We're looking to try to do hardware giveaways once a month, and just other fun content. Tomorrow, I will be playing Guild Wars 2 again, but I'll be playing. It's gonna be a little bit different this time because last time I just dove in to get my first kind of taste of the game. But tomorrow, I'm streaming with a regular Guild Wars 2 streamer that goes by the name of Rook. She and I will be gaming together. She's going to be my tour guide as we, she's really into the PvE content. So we're going to be doing a bunch of PvE stuff. I don't know if we're going to PvP or not. There's so much to do in a game like Guild Wars 2 with a rich amount of content. So we're just going to have a good time, play some games. But Marcel, GG's. Everyone go follow Marcel on Twitch. Mr. Fields _. Follow me on Twitch.
Yes, please.
Whitson, where's your Twitch?
I don't know.
Oh, and he doesn't know.
Oh, I guess I have I technically have a Twitch at Whitson.
I don't know. I don't know what's the best
I've
answer.
streamed like 2 times, and I'm hoping to stream a little bit more. Now that I'm finished with Mass Effect Legendary Edition, I'm like, all right, what can I stream? Because that's not a game.
Follow him at ROG
Yeah,
_Zuckerberg.
You're fired.
All right, friends. We'll see you next time. GG's.
GG's.